I am Felipe. I work in zemos98, which is a collective of cultural activists based in Seville. And we have been working lately with different European networks and communities, which I think could represent very well how can we conceive alternative Europe. I say that in plural because that's one of the problems that I see right now, socially and politically speaking, that Europe was conceived as one big fortress. The main model was based on the economy, and also, as we have been hearing in the TRANSEUROPA festival, the militarization of that fortress. So I think we had a lack at that moment of networks and communities not only based on money, but based on socially engaged perspective. And that is what is taking place, I think, right now. In our case, for example, I can identify the commons as one of the topics that is gathering different initiatives, NGOs, collectives, individuals, trying to reinvent the way we have been experienced democracy, the participatory processes. And I think that even though we don't have a clear definition of that, which was something also said by people from Messina, which had a very interesting, successful case of running a council and including the commons as part of their policies. But even if we don't have a clear definition of what is the commons, I do think that it could work as a link between different people from different backgrounds. And I do think that those alternatives could be related to the commons. I think that there is something wrong with the panels and the conferences. Not in this festival, but in all the things that we have been doing, and I include ourselves as part of that. If you see the architecture of the places that we usually do to make conferences and panels, it is showing a hierarchy that it's more part of the world that we are trying to avoid. For example, if you look at the internet, the conversation is happening in a very chaotic way. It's really hard to identify which is the center of that conversation. There are so many voices speaking at the same time. So the panel is giving the voice to someone with a microphone, and then a lot of people need to hear that person. That is television. So what we are confronting here is the television model versus the internet one. So I do think that we need to still invent more formats in order to try to import what is happening on the internet in terms of how the conversation is being developed. And also that is related to the humor as well, because the internet is full of jokes. I know that sometimes some political intellectuals think that the jokes are not useful politically speaking, but I don't agree with that. I mean, I think the humor is a very good way to engage people in our struggles. Sometimes you can even laugh at yourself, at your own issues. So yes, we need to reinvent the formats of the events that we are doing, because what is political is not only serious. And it's not only that academic. Of course, we need the academy, we need people making theories about what is happening, but theories can be also funny. If not, we are not going to engage larger audiences, for sure. I think even if Podemos is a very well-known initiative in Europe, that is related to media, because what is more interesting in Spain is not Podemos. Podemos has been arrogant because they have been holding a discourse in which they were telling us that they could really manage our governments differently. And I don't think so, because with, for example, the local platforms, citizen platform, which apply to the municipal elections, we are just realizing that it's really hard to change this institution from inside. So I do think that Podemos needs to avoid that arrogance as soon as they can, because the general elections are going to be in December. So if they don't do that, they are not going to, because also there is a disconnection with people there. I think I'm going to bring back home from the TRANSEUROPA festival everything you usually discover in this kind of encounters, like people, experiences, thoughts, also things to avoid. I think these kind of places are also good to discover what you don't want to do. But concretely speaking, I will mention the guys and the experience from Messina, because in Spain we have the sensation that everything which is politically happening, and especially related to Podemos, is like a model. Also because we have been asked to tell that in other countries. So it's not a model, because in some other places are happening similar things, and even before, like in Messina. So for me it was really a really interesting discovery, and also to see the links, because that's also something important related to the festival itself and what the festival wants to do. We need transnational strategies. We need to link what is happening locally in different places, but at the same time we need to build a common strategy, a European strategy, or a pan-European, including other countries from the north of Europe and the Middle East, because I do think that when we just sit on a table hearing different but similar stories, we can build that movement, or whatever we want to call it.